The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Now, the author of The Path of Least Resistance and the Tech Insider, David White.
And welcome all to another beautiful edition of the Power Trading Hour on TFNN.com, your headquarters for technical trading and investing. It is another gorgeous day down at TFNN, at least in the Clearwater area. Unfortunately, no sun today. I almost feel cheated. If the weather would be just a little bit better, if we could just get that sun out, which we'll probably get tomorrow. Of course, everybody else knee-deep in snow up in the Northeast, and I'm crying because we don't have a little sun. But that's the way things go. I digress. Anyway, we have a market not really headed much of anywhere fast, but not unexpected. We're up 5 points on the S&P cash, about 150 million shares shy of where we were at this time yesterday. I suspect that we're going to be 500 million shares short at this time tomorrow. Just going to see a very, very light volume push up into this end, and a little less than 1.8 billion shares now tells us probably everything we need to know, and that is not going to go very far, very fast. A few stocks moving fairly well. Few commodities, natural gas finally moving. I think someone called in maybe a week and a half ago, and I said the only thing that was going to move natural gas was cold weather. And at least we have a bit. I don't see natural gas really taking off too far. I think you can have a nice trade out here over the next few days. But it would take a considerable amount of very cold weather to really cut into the supplies. Still burning a great deal of it off in the Northwest in those, in the wells. Just burning it off because there's nowhere to put it. And of course, the best, as we used to say here at TFNN, the best cure for a low price is a low price. But we're going to have to probably do a little bit more work so natural gas can be sold. And eventually this thing's we're probably gonna see natural gas really take a run. Probably a good trade here. I just don't see enough cold weather in the foreseeable couple of weeks to change things. Of course, that could also change, but more likely probably going to see any big move into next year, probably in January and February in the depths of winter. We always like to start the day off a little bit with some history, especially in the financial sector. And, of course, the patron saint of all Floridians, Willis Carrier, the father of air conditioning, is born near Angola, New York in 1902. Just 1 year after graduating from Cornell's engineering school, he demonstrates his new apparatus for treating air, the device that makes living in hot climates comfortable for the first time, and probably why I'm not running around shooting people in the middle of the summer. At least you can sleep without sweating all over and waking up in a wet pile of sheets in the morning. Basically refrigeration and air conditioning, two of the biggest pillars of civilization. If you're always hot and nasty and sweating, you're probably more likely to take a swing at somebody than if you're nice and cool and keep your head about you. Maybe that's why they say keep cool. I digress. And, of course, we're winning award after award for digressing on this show. But on this day in 1876, the patron saint of hot climates, Willis Carrier, was born. So what do we have going on? Kind of interesting. There's pretty much the transcripts and the full audio is out in a speech that Larry Summers gave. And we probably find out right here why he is not going to be the Fed president. He said, the problem is that natural interest rate, where investment and savings bring about full employment, is now negative. However, the Fed cannot cut the nominal rate below zero because people will choose to hoard their money instead of putting it in the bank. This is called the zero lower bound and has reduced the power of the Fed policy. Anyway, when we get into a little bit more of his speech, he's basically saying the gun is loaded with blanks now for the Fed, and QE is pretty much done everything that it could possibly do. The only thing now is bad side effects and a huge hangover from continuing it. But this was why many people thought some of the comments that he had, that he was going to be blocked by the Massachusetts senator. I forget her name now. But she wasn't going to have any of it. She wanted somebody in there that was, one, a woman, and two, willing to throw all the money at the problem that we could. And anyway, fairly good assessment of why the Fed is pretty much done on anything it can truly do. Now it's a political issue, and of course politicians pretty much not interested in actually doing anything that I can see to improve the economy. A lot more stabbing each other in the back. Today, of course, last week we were talking about the shorts in the 3D market and me calling a blow-off a top in that market. This morning, finally, Kramer is saying that these are in a bubble and actually calling them cult stocks. And I don't think a lot of people really understand the meaning of a cult stock in financial terms. Most people think of Jim Jones and Koresh, and it's more of a technical meaning. At least most of the people in Wall Street use it as a technical meaning instead of a blind belief in some person that has been picked by God. Cargo cults pretty much is where most of this stuff happened. When you go back and look through books and everything else, we're not in the first cult stocks, but the word really came to a bigger meaning during the Second World War. We started island hopping from Australia all the way up to Japan. As the GIs would hit island after island, the natives there, who had never seen really anything, were all horribly amazed at people coming from the sky. Only people that were gods could have that kind of technology. And so Arthur C. Clarke's third law, any sufficient advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And that's what all these natives thought. They're nice enough folks. But as soon as the GIs took off and left the islands, even though these islands, people didn't have radios to talk to each other, people didn't have any way of communicating. A lot of these islands were hundreds of miles away from each other. Probably 10 or 15 of these islands, the natives all started building effigies of planes. They made dirt strips for landing strips. They made control towers to stand in, and they would have basically almost, a truly religious kind of experience, thinking that if they prayed enough and showed up with the airplanes, they could trick the gods to send down more airplanes with more stuff. The GIs never really built anything. All the goods and food just came from the sky. They never saw anybody really repairing anything. They never really saw any of the hard work it took to make anything. And they basically just thought, God provided it all. And if we do the same thing that these guys do coming out of the sky here, we'll get all the good stuff too. We'll get all these wonderful things that these guys have. So they made little huts and talked to boxes. And just like the radio operators did, they made antennas. And what this really is they imitate the superficial exterior of a processor or a system without any underlying understanding. The definitive form of form without any substance. And a great deal of these stocks, no one has any idea. They just start chasing, and they don't look at any of the PEs. They don't look at any of the cash flows. They go into a pure trading mode, and it is almost a cargo cult with no understanding. They just pray to the gods that everything will come from the skies and be free. And, of course, probably the easiest way to give away your money in the stock market. But even Kramer saying that 3D stocks are in a bubble now. And, man, glad he could catch up a week later. One of the stocks and one of the things that I see happening, especially in these 3D stocks, probably the most egregious is DDD. Early on in probably the first couple of weeks that I had this show on TFNN, we talked about Molycorp when it had just become a IPO. And one of the things that we really saw in this, or one thing that really got me out of the stock, was that the CEO was constantly on CNBC, on Bloomberg, pimping his stock. And he's not saying, come use my and buy my stuff. He was pushing the price up on his stock. And one of the things I dislike is seeing anytime a CEO doesn't come on to explain the earnings, but comes on to pimp the stock. This is all the cool stuff. Yes, whatever the price is fine. We're going higher. We're going higher. We're going higher. And that's always a good sign that the CEOs or the insiders plan to sell at a high price early on, and they don't have a lot of confidence long term. I still think DDD is probably best situated. Not bad when a company also wants to sell at the highs and get out early, but also continues to do most of the right things. Some can't do the right things. Of course, when we look at Molycorp, after the CEO started cooking the books on Molycorp, got it all the way up to about $80. Of course, now it's under $5. Now, is it a still good company? Yep, they're making rare earth minerals. It's all going to be about buying it right. But that CEO being out every week and flogging CNBC only drew the hysteria to the cult and the cargo cult of rare earth minerals. And, of course, right about that area at $60, $70. What did China do? It had pretty much cornered the market on rare earths. It let them start to flow. And, of course, all these stocks came back down to earth. You have to know exactly what's in there, and you have to know that money and profits just don't fall from the sky just because you make a effigy of an airplane, an antenna, or something else. Anyway, we'll be back in a minute. Give me a call, 877-927-6648.
With over 3 decades of trading experience, Andy Hecht brings a tremendous amount of knowledge and expertise to each weekly issue of his newsletter, the Technomental Commodity Report. The Technomental Commodity Report gives you Andy's unique technomental analysis of the commodities market, a combination of technicals and fundamental analysis which he has developed and perfected over his many years of trading. The Technomental Commodity Report is only $49 a month, and right now you can get a full month-long trial subscription while paying absolutely nothing. See for yourself the kind of weekly report Andy delivers to his subscribers every Thursday morning. You'll receive specific stock, ETF, and option trades based on Andy's analysis, so no futures account is required. For all the details and to start your month-long free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report, visit TFNN.com today.
With the launch of Tiger TV, TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pezzamento, Andy Hecht, Victor Jones, or Daryl Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investments, and whether you're bullish or bearish on U.S. Treasuries, the ETFs from Direction Shares are there to help you magnify your perspective. Bull ETFs for a rising market and bear ETFs for a falling market. Direction Shares gives you the tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor, Foresight Fund Services, LLC. Wouldn't it be great if you could get a red light, green light indicator that gives you signals on 25 different futures contracts? Now you can with Taz Signal Box. This red light, green light market profile system dynamically updates 24 hours a day and provides you with important trend and trade signals on 9 different commodities, 9 different indices, and 8 different currencies. Right now, you can receive a 2-week free trial to Taz Signal Box. For all the details and to find out how the Signal Box works, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And welcome all back to TFNN and the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. And what did we have today? We had some earnings coming through, so we're going to go through a few of those. Of course, always interesting when Tiffany's comes out, the high-end retailer. And, of course, I always have to think about breakfast at Tiffany's.
And I said, what about breakfast at Tiffany? She said, I think I remember the film, and as I recall, I think we both kind of liked it.
Yeah, probably one of the best songs out there on Tiffany's out there. But they came out with a fairly decent earnings, a big move up here, gap above that $83, which was the last high, even though it was a little lighter than the $81.25 that happened back in the end of May. But certainly huge volume before the show on this chart's probably an hour old or so. We'll look at it in a little bit, but a nice bounce out of here. Probably going to get at least 4 million shares today, which is what you needed. Probably like a little bit more, but market's fairly light. But high of 87.80 today, and what can you say? People are buying very expensive diamonds, but very interesting. And others, Edmund Burke. one of the things that I'm pretty sure that we've got Andy Heck coming on after the show today, or after our show. And it is, I always look forward to what he has to say. Crude energy pretty much took a beating yesterday on word that 6 countries have made a deal with Iran. And the only thing I could think of was of course, the whole peace in our time thing from 1938, and Neville Chamberlain waving his paper in front of everybody. Of course, Europe and America pretty much went through a horrible war just 20 years earlier, didn't want to repeat it. But at the same time, you can't hide from true evil. And, of course, his quote is, "Those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it." And I pretty much the entire world right now is looking at the agreement. Probably just about, 6-9 months after that agreement, there was several books written in England. One was called Guilty Men. And I guess it came out in 1940. But it basically showed how most of the appeasers actually caused the war by not standing up when it mattered, and appeasing Nazi Germany all the way through the 1930s when it was a small problem until it became a huge problem. Classic denunciation of the appeasement movement pretty much shaped popular beliefs late into the 60s, when it kind of changed here somewhat. But one of the things I've noticed is that both Saudi Arabia, Israel, and a lot of other states in that region are very mad at the current administrations over Iran's nuclear deal, and said it's going to strike out its own. Israel says the same thing. I fear that we've become a lot closer to some huge war out there, but I know why the prices of crude are coming down. I also have to recognize that the storm clouds that were coming over Europe in 1938 are coming over us now because we're too afraid to face the true problems. And I fear that a nuclear Iran would be one big problem. The question is whether or not the Israelis will allow it. They have some 220 nuclear weapons themselves. There's no easy way to get rid of the Iranians' nuclear capability. They've put many of their facilities next to schools and hospitals, built them 400 feet underneath the ground. We are the only country now with the capability of going in and getting those buried deep. Unfortunately, you need something about the size of a B-52 to put them in. They can be 40 or 50 feet long, nothing more than huge telephone poles with rocket motors that can go 200, 250, 300 feet down in the ground before they explode to get those facilities. And, of course, Israel's only option is probably to go in and nuke the sites. So the question is whether or not we're going to have somebody that truly is as evil and twisted as the Nazis were with atomic weapons. And I'm just wondering how the market over the next few months is actually going to look at it. Anyway, we'll be back in just a few minutes.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock in option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors. Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads.
This segment is brought to you by Harmony Gold. For more information, just click the Harmony Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we continue on. If you have a question for me, you can always give us a call at 877-927-6648, or you can email me at path@tfnn.com. I had one question, and that is an article about the NSA getting in to all the Internet links, and asked my opinion whether or not that was true. And I said I would answer on the air. But if you're watching on Tiger TV, you're going to see a big, long, cylindrical cylinder. This was made by IBM about 1958. And what it did was clamp on to telephone lines that were underwater. And there were several submarines made in the late 50s that actually had on top of them kind of they called it a Batcave, but it was basically a big empty, about the size of a garage on top of it, and the idea was they're going to drag a missile out of it while on the surface and fire that missile off. That missile was going to have a nuclear warhead on it, and a predecessor to the missiles that fired up out of the water and then ignited later. This one was going to ignite off the deck. Not real bright. The question is whether they actually built that submarine for that reason, or to actually bring in what I'm showing you on television, which is this 20 or 10 foot long cylinder. This would be put over once a month over the cables going across the Baltic seas and between all the commanders and the people on the fronts of the Soviet armed forces. So we'd have about 30 days worth of reported phone calls. They put it in about 200-300 feet of water. The subs would go down there, exchange these out once a month out of that Batcave. And if you're asking whether or not the NSA probably has done the same thing today, they were doing it in the early, right around 1960. If you go to the Naval Museum in New York City, you'll see one of these regular subs sitting right next to the aircraft carrier. And I don't know if when I saw it, they didn't have a lot of background on it, but I think more and more has come out of the job that those subs actually did. It's nothing, probably nothing new, but interestingly enough, nothing new under the sun, especially for the NSA. And them basically trying to grab every conversation that's out there. They've been doing it forever. Difference is that they're doing it to U.S. citizens now. The reason I bring this up is the question that the emailer had was more about what's going to happen to U.S. companies. And we've already seen pretty much the U.S. companies are already now shut out of all of China. And we're starting to see one by one European nations clicked off. So we may see a lot more companies like Oracle, IBM, Microsoft start feeling the brunt of the whole NSA thing, especially now that the belief is that not only is the NSA active on the internet, but they're actively infiltrating U.S. companies to embed the capability to break in and put in back doors. We've already seen some people, Oracle probably the biggest one, squealing about selling anything into Asia right now. And IBM, a few whispers about it so far. I suspect we're going to see a lot more of that, though, in the fourth quarter of next year as we get this whole tit-for-tat thing going on with what the NSA is doing and how it affects actual companies in the United States. Speaking of the Chinese, and I think I had a caller on, when was it, last Friday's show, and they were talking about Kamiko. We were talking about a whole new bunch of Chinese reactors going on line. Basically, there's a new reactor that has been connected up to the electrical grid for the Chinese yesterday. It is the 18th reactor. They've got another 22 in production right now. This is a pressurized water reactor, which is kind of a design along the French line. But it's been producing power since June, now going on full blown. One of the things I did want to bring up on CCJ was that just after the close of the Friday show, I noticed something had run across the tape, and that is that Russia has contracted to build 50 nuclear power stations over the next 10 years with various people, including some of the French, who probably are the best at running and maintaining nuclear power sites. But that whole CCJ, uranium business may be pretty good for years to come. Take-Two Interactive. Maybe I've got this out of the range. We were talking a little bit about Carl Icahn in the den a few minutes ago. He's certainly getting out of several of these stocks. This is one where he was green-mailed right out of it. The company bought all his shares at the same time the deal was that the two guys that he had on the board of directors are gone. I'm kind of twisted about these backroom deals to actually buy stock. The question is, how hard would have this gotten hit if Carl Icahn just went to start selling them on the open market? This is just one of the stocks that he's been dumping. There's some more here today, and we'll get into it. But He sold, yeah, here it is. I just had him out of order. Games developer basically makes Grand Theft Auto. Company's been kind of sliding. I think Icon thought he was going to be able to run this. It hasn't been one of his big winners out here. Nuance is another one. Hit 52-week low today after guidance falls short. He most notably went long this a few months ago, really pushing that it was going to go higher. Thought he could get a short squeeze started and wasn't able to. There's absolutely huge blocks going through, very reminiscent of Netflix when Icon was getting out of the way on that one. Oh, I forgot to play my theme here. I got to play my Icon theme. There he is. Here comes the Godfather. Okay, Mr. CEO of Take-Two, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. There he is. Anyway, we're not going to listen to that too much longer. Anyway, large blocks. And when I was looking earlier, there were close to 40,000 puts at the 13s. But the large blocks, the huge amounts of puts under this stock, pretty good indication that Icon is getting out of the way. But at the same time, monster 40,000 puts. I think it's probably 10 or 20 times the normal volume in Nuance puts out there, but not a lot of faith in this. Of course, once this thing breaks through 10, it stays under there for about 3 months, probably going to push this out of a lot of fund managers' portfolios also. But monster blocks, some 65,000 puts overall today, and 40,000 just in the 13s. Got to tell you that people are thinking this is going to be rather weak for months to come. And, of course, no making a deal, so we can see the positive and negative of Take-Two to Nuance. But, of course, Nuance is the maker of the Siri kind of voice recognition technology that probably never made or lived up to the initial promise when Siri first came out and then later became kind of a joke. But huge move down. If you're watching on Tiger TV, I've got the chart out here. I suspect by the end of the day, we'll probably be up in the 60 million shares. I think this chart's an hour old, so we'll look at it a little closer out here. Another one that is actually doing well, Palo Alto Networks. They make a security software for networks. PanW is the symbol on it. Gapped up 6% in the market this morning. I love this company. All these, and in fact, a couple of companies in here I'm going to talk about. The problem is these things are hugely, hugely expensive, and we need huge moves back to the lows. But probably the biggest thing is that their strong growth, not really making any money yet, which is problematic for me. But the revenues are up about 75%, certainly have stopped the bleeding. But I would think that their software as a service business really is more about selling subscriptions than selling individual packages. They've been making that change for about a year. But this is a company that went public right through that whole change, kind of like Facebook. You really can't tell just how much and how well they're doing because there is no real history. It's not like a company that has been out there with the same model for about 5 years and suddenly something changed. They decided to change and go into that subscription model, so it becomes much more tricky. Now, of course, if you're watching on Tiger TV or in the Den, pretty easy to see that we're awful close to that high $50 mark where we're going to start hitting fairly significant resistance since this company went public. Pretty good energy up here today, and of course selling off a little bit from the open. Workday is another company that I love. Think of these guys as the paychecks, but totally on the web. You hire your own people to do it, but they make sure that the software is all set up for your particular situation. So if you're in Florida, you got to do all the human resources work. They've got all the software, but you have your own internal people actually doing it, opposed to somebody like a Paychex that does everything on their side. You actually type in all the data. They just make sure that the software is always right. These guys used to be a huge deal. All the leaders, the CEOs, the CFOs in PeopleSoft years ago. I knew that these guys pretty much had figured everything out. They didn't want to sell PeopleSoft. They've got their own company now in this Workday, and they're probably going to do well. Again, just the problem is the monstrous valuation that some of these recent IPOs still have, as they don't make any real money. This one, basically in the range of making 120 million per quarter. Still way south of where these folks need to go. So I'm hoping that we get that huge pullback in the market so I can buy stocks like this in the near future. Twitch. Okay. And that's pretty much it. So we will take a look, see how well we're doing. Let's take a quick look at Nuance in UAN. Just see how they're doing here. Okay, there we go. Well, when you look at this, probably not as bad as you would think, except we're not on today. So program options server. Let's do this again here. I'm not getting today's quote here. We'll have to figure out what's going on. Let's see what else is happening out here. Wanted to look at IBM real quick before the break. We got just a couple of minutes. IBM's been kind of selling off out here. We've been talking about this coming right back up to the gap down at 185, but also setting up the next ABC. We may see this slow down a little bit, but a pretty decent let's see, 194, there we go. Pretty nice retracement, 61% retracement. But some of these big tech companies, like we talked about, had some nice volume off these gap downs, came right back, filled the gap down, and then headed back down. So probably looking at IBM headed back down to 172.57. And a 1-to-1 would take you to 163.92, but certainly looks like distribution of this stock started back in May and has not really stopped. You've got that high volume low that may act as support for a while at 172.57, 22 million shares. That's going to be a little harder to get through, but I'm looking at this thing to do one more ABC down into that 163.92 area. And again, you can always give me a call. There's plenty of time left at 877-927-6648. If you're quick with your email, path@tfnn.com. But, when we look at gold, if you get the and subscribe to the Art of Timing the Trade charts, every morning you get a list of all the stocks that came out with Gartley patterns overnight. You may have noticed that several in the gold sector actually had confirmed Gartley patterns. And I'm not going to go into them now for the sake of our subscribers that actually pay for them. But we're starting to find some kind of at least an interim low maybe in gold out here, even though it's not doing anything. Looking forward to Tom's comment from the gold conference, and he'll be on, I think, at 4. So maybe he's got something to bring us up to speed on. We'll be back in just a minute. Give me a call, email me.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's trading newsletter.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the Forex market, and more. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you the edge you've been looking for. Try patterns, profits, and peace of mind absolutely free for 2 full weeks. That's an $85 value. Yours free when you register right now.
Get Larry's patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
And get the edge you've been looking for.
Have you subscribed to the Gold Report yet? On Wednesday, August 14th and Thursday, August 15th, Tom O'Brien advised his Gold Report subscribers to close out 6 of their 9 open positions, all winning trades ranging from a 10.69% profit to an incredible 48% profit in just one equity. Tom O'Brien brings an incredible wealth of knowledge and experience to the gold market and the equities within the industry. That's almost 12 years since this powerful newsletter first began. And right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the Gold Report by visiting TFNN.com. Make sure you're a subscriber as this volatile gold market makes its way back into positive territory after declining all the way from $1,900 to under $1,200 an ounce in only 2 years. Get your 30-day free trial today by visiting TFNN.com.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
What's the one thing that pulls people back from the breakthrough that they're moving towards? What's the only thing that really stops people from taking action? You and I both know the answer, and sure, we can come up with the reasons why we're not where we want to be, but the only reason that we don't do more with our life is fear. Or if you're an overachiever, call it stress. Simply put, there's something that happened to us in our past that's holding us back from the life we deserve, yet you and I are okay, we're here. So why should we let our past control our future? Exactly. We shouldn't. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes with TFNN.com, and when it comes to your trading and investing, I can help you overcome your fear of loss. Together, we'll turn weakness into strength with a system I've developed called Mastering Probability. I'll teach you how to make your money work harder for you than you do for it. I'll teach you the tools that provide financial freedom. Go to the homepage of TFNN.com, click on my name, Steve Rhodes, and begin your journey of mastering probability risk-free. It's time to become a pioneer of your future versus a prisoner of your past.
Join Andy Hecht as he teaches you how to make money in commodities. The Commodities Hour, next on TFNN.
I always feel like somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Oh, I always feel like somebody's watching me.
Oh, boy. Is somebody watching me? I was telling, I think, Tommy's son the other day, I said, we need to get NSA for a sponsor here. They're the only government agency that actually listens to us. And he thought that was kind of cute, but I'm always thinking about that. We had an email I'll get to first, and it's Ben from San Jose, California. I wanted to know what I thought about the IWM. We're at a high here. We had 45 million shares 2 days ago. Coming into a high that had 39 million shares. Not much volume here the last 2 days. We've seen, as a pattern, a lot of these stocks and indexes getting to these highs, breaking through them on light volume, and pulling back in. I'm 100% cash. I'm waiting for some kind of a decent signal one way or the other, some volume to come in and then a pull back to this level. I can't be long. I can't be short. We're going to have probably one good shot shorting this market or opportunity, and that's going to probably be late Friday, or most likely Monday, later in the day with Cyber Monday, to see what really the effect of the snowstorm is on people buying and whether or not they're doing it online, what and how far they had to cut the margins. We're probably going to see Walmart, Amazon, Best Buy, and those stocks probably getting the majority of the press. It's the other stocks that have already been doing rather poorly, especially the teen clothiers and maybe some of the other stocks that have had a little bit of a run in the clothing market, minus the, of course, men's suit business, which has heated up yet again today, but nothing has actually happened. We will have that. And, of course, we got Andy Heck coming up in a few minutes. I don't know if he was listening earlier, but it would be very interesting to see what his view is on the political angle in crude, especially with what the Arabs have been saying about the whole deal with Iran, since apparently nobody's happy in that area and how that's going to affect it. Of course, it got a little pop, pulled back a little bit today on crude. Charts really probably not changed on that yet, but it could be if you've been short, maybe it's getting a little closer to the time where you may want to take your money in case anything happens over there. But I'll like to listen to his opinion on that. But we are up here with very light volume. We're going into a big, long weekend. A lot of times the markets change direction right after those big weekends. People start getting to talking, things happen. But if it doesn't change, most likely on Friday or Monday, we are probably going to just drift higher on infinitely lighter volume till the end of the year. And I suspect if you were going to think about being short, that is going to be the time. But I could see a good possibility, maybe even better than 50%, that I have no positions in the indexes for the rest of the year, and maybe even in individual stocks. This may be just one time that you can't really play these. It may be that only being in commodities and commodity-driven things are actually going to be anything that truly moves over the next 30 days to 45 days until the beginning of next year. Not too different than the dot-com highs in 2000. Everything just drifted on very, very light volume up until the 2000 high, and then the markets blew apart. Wouldn't be that much different than now. But, there's a time for all things. Just remember, sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you tomorrow, same bat channel, same bat time. I will be in the studio, so you'll see my smiling face. And we'll see Andy's in just a second here.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.